world peace and harmony. We've just come off a wonderful conference last weekend where we had Ananda Swami lead us in wonderful lectures, and now we're following up on that experience to have a more experiential moment with healing techniques brought to us by Paramhansa Yogananda. Ananda Swami is here. She is visiting us from Ananda Village, for those who don't know her. She resides there, and she doesn't come out this way too often, but when she does, we enjoy her company, and she leaves a lasting memory. So hopefully it won't be like, I think, 4 years since the last time you were here. So tonight we'll start after, we'll begin with a prayer by Asha, opening up this evening. Then we'll have some music, and then a little talk by Asha. After that, we'll follow with some healing techniques that our Guru Bhais from Ananda Village, he's behind here on this altar, have prepared to share with you. Healing techniques that will heal the body, mind, and spirit. We'll start with healing the body, then we'll go on to healing the family, and ultimately to healing the world. So these are very powerful techniques that use energy. The energy we'll be using tonight is the same power that creates, sustains, and destroys universes. A power we all carry within us, yet we live completely unaware of this mighty treasure that abides within. We learn a few techniques to activate and utilize this energy in order not only to heal, but also to achieve all our goals. We can utilize this energy to effect change in any aspect of our lives. The process is within. It's an inside job. And this energy starts with paying attention to the mind. Whatever happens to them in the mind happens in the body. When the mind is weak, the body becomes weak. And so it is of utmost importance that we keep absolutely free in the mind. A mind that is uplifted, focused, and free will serve us well. The ancient yogis say that the person who can remain calm and centered under any circumstance is invincible. And we all relate to that. I see many people saying, yeah, I relate to that. That's our potential. That's who we truly are. For in essence, we're all cut from the same cloth and sewn with the same thread. So when we interiorize our awareness and we live from our center, we relate to that center everywhere, in everyone and in everything. So holding this energy and knowing how to utilize it is essential if we want to meet our goals. Asha has given us wonderful talks in which she has but she has distilled these eternal verities, distilled from Paramhansa Yogananda, by Swami Kriyananda, by Ananda Swami, and hopefully the rest of us that come behind as we follow this ray of wisdom will also be able to bring us these teachings with clarity and understanding. So without further ado, I will pass this on to Asha to start us out with a prayer.
healed. Our first healing miracle. Wendy. Come on. Linda, I want you to go. I just prefer not to have to eat it. Thank you. Got it? All right, my friends. I hope it's worth it.
It works.
All right. Can I be heard? Can I be heard adequately? Do I
No.
need to speak up louder?
No.
We're going to try and turn it up a little.
Okay, I will simply
We're turning it up.
Hold it.
Yes.
speak louder.
Yeah.
Now I feel like the preacher woman.
That's what you are.
That's the problem that is there. All right, my friends, we're going to invoke the presence of Paramhansa Yogananda and the gurus associated with this line of teaching. By no means the only possibility in the universe, but the one to which we are dedicated, and therefore that's the energy that we want to bring to all of you. So we have a lineage of masters. Many of you know this. If you've read Autobiography of a Yogi or heard about this path at all. And when we pray together, it's very important that we not just have our minds elsewhere and think of it as the part that comes first and then we'll actually begin. Because this is the part in which we declare ourselves and declare the potential of what we're doing. Everything about this evening is about the fact that we are the aperture, we are the opening for a tremendous flow of energy. And that flow of energy is both both divine in the way we think of that, which is being transcended to this world. It's also in this world when there is an opening. Swami Kriyananda, my personal teacher, not personal in the sense that he was only my teacher, but the one from whom I learned what little I know. He said that we imagine that God does not want to gift this world with beautiful things because there's so much in this world that isn't beautiful. But he said it's not a lack of willingness on the part of the divine. It's a lack of willingness by those of us who live in this world to serve as open channels for that. And that the choice is always ours. There's never a limitation on the potential flow of energy. There's only a limitation on our ability to open to it. And prayer, invocation of the presence of the masters, is the way it always begins. In the Bible, Jesus put it very simply, where two or more are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. That, of course, the tense that he used there, meaning it's a constant fact, and it's not created by our sudden paying attention to it, but our lives are changed when we suddenly pay attention to it. So we invoke the presence of the masters by saying, really what we're saying is, well, here I am. There was a wonderful book from decades ago. It was called Mr. God, This is Anna. And it was, I don't remember whether it was whimsical or true, I can't remember now. But the little girl used to pray, and that's how she would pray. Mr. God, this is Anna. And I've always been touched by that. Be ye therefore like little children, for such is the kingdom of heaven. Wonderful little children's prayers. Little girl goes to church with new shoes and she spends the whole time going like this. She's showing them to God. She wants him to see. But that's our spirit. So let us now, please, pray responsibly or silently as you feel to. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswar, Great Master, Paramhansa Yogananda, Saints of all religions, dear friend and guide Swami Kriyananda, humbly we open our hearts to your divine presence. Help us to be your instruments, that in our gathering this evening, we may feel your presence flowing through us out into the world, touching and uplifting all receptive hearts. Om. Peace. Amen. Now we'll start with a little bit of music, because of course it helps always to start with music. But the music also has another deeper divine purpose. We are made of vibrations of energy, and sound is our fundamental character. This is why in the Bible it says again, in the beginning was the Word. And that word, when you read from the India side, from the Eastern side, is the vibration of Om itself. This is why music affects us so differently, because it's really the substance of which we are made. So the melodies that we're going to be singing, the words, both in the chants and in the songs, feel it not just like coming into your mind, but feel it like it's just running through you, as if we were just a sieve and the water of the Spirit is just passing through us, so that we actually change our vibration to match the divine vibrations of these melodies and these chants. And this is the beginning of our capacity to be an open window for that energy to flow through us. So let's begin.
If you're seeking freedom in a revolution,
oh, if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there.
For once the guns stop blazing, you'll find it amazing how the world can drag on just as before. If you're seeking freedom in a marble mansion,
oh, if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there.
For even when it's sunny, you'll be counting money, keeping up that showcase your face lined with hair. And if you're seeking freedom on a throne of power,
oh, if you're seeking freedom, you won't find it there.
for though men all obey you, what if they betray you, tends to be in waiting for foes everywhere. But if you're seeking freedom, cast away desire.
My heart with the beggar, you dwell everywhere.
For never can you buy it, grasp and you deny it. Freedom can't be hoarded, it's free as the air. And if you're seeking freedom, seek it on the mountain. mountains got sunlight on your shoulders, the wind in your hair. For there's no one can hold you, boss about or mold you. Once your heart is free, you'll be king everywhere. For there's no one can hold you, boss about or mold you. Once your heart is free, you'll be king everywhere.
Now, friends, we're going to have this first chant together, and you have chant books that were placed on your chair. We invite you to chant along with us. As Swami Asha was saying, that a part of our role of opening up as this channel to allow this vibration to flow through us, we must participate actively with our hearts, with this joy, as we sing Saint Teresa of Avila's Admonition, music by Swami Yogananda. So it's in your chant books under S, under Saint Teresa of Avila. Let nothing disturb you, nothing affright you. All things will pass, but God changes not. Patient endurance brings you to victory. Once you have God, you want nothing more. God alone, God alone, God alone is all we need.
And that was better than the other one.
Thank
simplify and just go with invoking the presence of Om. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. We'll be diving deeper into this vibration. We'll be diving deeper into this vibration. Is it on? It's on.
Page 6.
Thank you, Rob. So fill my body is very simple and it repeats as you notice that the chant repeats. Fill my body, fill my spirit, fill me with the sound of Om. You are that vibration of Om.
first started traveling and speaking, and I had to arrange all my own tours and so on, and it was like, well, 40 years ago. There you have it. Not that I'm fooling anybody as to how old I am, but anyway, that's when it was. And I was very Gemini, and I didn't want to commit myself. I mean, I knew I had to, especially then, because we didn't have social media, so everything had to be printed and announced in the newspapers and so on. And I knew I had to make commitments, but I just didn't want to make those commitments because what if, when the time came, I didn't feel like doing it, okay? But as a consequence of procrastination, these things start piling up on themselves in a terrible manner. And one of my friends, in a tremendous effort to try to help me, tried to explain to me all the catastrophic things that would happen if I kept procrastinating. I was perfectly aware of all the catastrophic things that would happen, and the more I thought about them, the more nervous and paralyzed I became. And finally I was able to articulate that much as I appreciated their helpfulness in trying to scare the living daylights out of me, it wasn't helping at all. And what I needed was for somebody to just put their arms around me and say, "It's okay, honey, you can do it." You know, just to give me the confidence that I was an okay person and that somehow I would weather this storm. To their credit, as a friend, that's the strategy they always used after that. You can do it, you can do it. And I was remembering also, when I was 16 years old, I started working in this department store. It was a fancy program where they took a couple of kids from every high school, but really we were just clerks in a department store, but it was good PR for the store. And so I was working in retail like that, and I did it for quite a number of years. And I remembered that whenever a customer would come in and realize that I wasn't a retail clerk, I was a human being with a life of my own, with energy, with interests, with something to offer. And I was 16 years old. It wasn't like I needed to be there, be a friend. I was working in high-end department stores, so there was no social contact between us. But some people always knew that there was another human being in front of them and recognized on some level this unity of spirit, which was really the truth between us. And I'll tell you, it would change my whole day. One customer who actually saw that I was there and gave me that kind of energy. I've made a resolution ever since, whenever I go to any store, or any clerk, any stranger, I always try to find some way to make it across. To just say, I know, you're working here and I'm doing this, but really, what we are is one-to-one in that light. And these, I offer these two small experiences. You all, I'm sure, have had many of your own. We get very confused when we look at this world because it seems to be very large, it seems to be very complicated, and a lot of people have some extremely weird ideas about what is a good idea. It's just, from just silly people to ineffectual people to just downright evil, terrifying people who have power, who are acting in this world, and anybody who's paying attention is going to get really nervous or really sad or really drunk, just some way in order to deal with it. When I know people who have substance problems or this or that, part of me just says it's a very intelligent response to looking at life, which is, who are we, what are we doing? Now, what happens to us if we factor in reincarnation and give ourselves enough time to learn it, is that somehow some veil begins to part, and we begin to understand that even though I seem small and insignificant on this stage, I am part of an enormous reality with tremendous power, and even more profoundly, I am loved by that power. And just as my friend helped me overcome my procrastination, just by standing by me, and those strangers in the stores were able to lift my spirit just by seeing me for what I am. All of us. There's not one living human, not one sentient being actually, who doesn't have the power to give an uplifting energy. And the degree of that upliftment, the degree of that power is unlimited. The power itself is unlimited. It's just a matter of how dedicated we are to this. And it's very important to understand, you don't have to be anybody special. I was in Whole Foods in New York City last night, actually. And two of the people who were there were people I hadn't seen in many years, and they were leaving. And both of them asked me to bless them, which is something that I would do in a Sunday service when I have my little gown on and I'm standing in front of, not usually in New York City in Whole Foods. But why not? I mean, it's not like God doesn't go to Whole Foods, why would he not? So I did, and the way we blessed, touching at the heart, touching at the forehead. Two of them, both of them were big men, like this. And all the while, there's this woman over here, and she just walks up to me. She's Russian. I don't know if any of you are Russian, but you Russians, they have before us. Who are you? She said. I said, nobody in particular. Then why? What were you doing? I said, they asked me to bless them. I want a blessing too. Sure. But it was wonderful. She was, I don't know if her name was Anna. And I blessed her. I just said, Master, I don't know why you brought, Master, I don't know why you brought this woman in front of me. But you know why she was in front of me. And whatever little bit we can give. And then later we went out, our friends took us to a Broadway show. We had a very New York day yesterday. And we come out and there's these men standing there, stretch limousine available, just men trying to earn a living, as it were. One man, he didn't get anybody to take him up on it. I saw him walking away. I thought, do we really want to rent his limousine? I couldn't quite bring myself to do it. But I said again, Master, whatever caused him to cross our path, he looked like a man who doesn't have a lot of happy days. Whatever it is that he needs, you say a prayer. Just, Divine Mother, bless us all. We all need it. Now, if we have any desire to make a difference in this world, to protect ourselves, even a selfish desire, what to speak of extending a net of protection and blessing to all those that we love, we can't wait until the building is on fire. When I used to have this strange thing about being in a concentration camp, and I would run this story in my mind. If I'm in the concentration camp, and we've all seen the movies, I'm standing here and the guard is, brutalizing the person next to me. Do I throw myself into the fray, even at the cost of my life? Welcome to my mind. I mean, I worried about this for years and years. Past life memory, future life possibility, I have no idea. Finally, I said to Swami Kriyananda, because I realized I had met someone who would understand me and also could give me wisdom. And he always answered questions like I would have a little box about as big as a book, and he would answer a question by as big as a mountain. So I explained my weird little mind thing to him. Perfect answer. What you are actually asking, he said to me, is in a moment of crisis, how can you know what God wants you to do? Because that really was the question. Because I could make it worse for everyone. Maybe my own life had a different destiny. Maybe I was born to sacrifice myself for someone else, even a total stranger. Which of those many extremely reasonable possibilities? How do we know? As long as we're acting in this little tiny concept of me with all my little wants and needs and strange energies. But if we can open ourselves and realize we are but a window, an aperture through which this divine energy flows. But Swami said the only way you will know in a moment of crisis is if you have practiced when it was easier. And that has become for me a watchword. Fortunately, I asked him that question decades ago. Practice when it's easier. When that poor man doesn't get a ride for his limousine and I see him walking off all by himself and his suit is shabby and he's a little lame, you know, like my heart breaks. What do? Do I close it off? Do I try to be a little hard about it? Do I run after him and empty my wallet into his pockets? You know, what? You have all these choices. I've traveled somewhat in India, and at first you see all the beggars and you're so confused. You don't know what to do. And finally, I came up with a very simple prayer. Divine Mother, bless us all. Because that's what you're seeing when you see somebody or some situation that's sad. Everybody is suffering. Divine Mother, bless us all. And now, of all times, anyone with a compassionate heart, we have a very serious divine responsibility to become instruments of the light. Our masters say, and many people say, we're just in a transition, but it's a tumultuous one. You can just see it. We have a whole set of values rising up on one side and a resistance to those values on the other. You know, where I live in Palo Alto, there is no dominant culture. A third of the people are from what you might call Asia in all its different variations. A third have Spanish as their first language. And the third is everybody else, which includes, you know, the Russians and the Ukrainians and everybody else. And me, I'm apparently a white girl. I found that out when I was about 30. Anyway, but there we are. But I was in a public place, and people were speaking Chinese over here and Vietnamese over here and Spanish over there. And my heart went out to people who don't understand any of that, and how angry and threatened they feel. I mean, if we hit back with the same energy, we'll just clash until we blow ourselves to pieces. The only way to help is to say, Divine Mother, bless us all. And then back that with real power. And that real power is just our sincere desire to do it. So few people in this world think beyond themselves. We're here to think of ourselves as one with the infinite, and then ask that infinite power to flow through us. Even in the smallest ways. The next time you go into a store to buy something, I always, so many people who work in stores have magnificent manicures. I always find, just look at someone and find something at least to admire, if not to love. And there was a man who came to our community many years ago, and he said to Swamiji, I feel more love from you than I feel from my own family. He said, how is that possible? He said, you don't even know me. And Swamiji said, oh, you're right, I don't. I don't know you like your family does at all the details of your life. He said, but I love God, Swami said. I love God. And when I look at you, I see within you the presence of the God I already love. And that's what we're trying to do. Just lift ourselves above this whole fray. This whole fray is just chaos. But on that level of that divine energy, that's where peace That's where bliss, that's where freedom, that's where true love exists. And all we have to do is step into the stream. We're always standing here waiting for it to come to us. You know, you don't stand on the side of the swimming pool and wait for the swimming pool water to come to you. You just step into it. Then it's around us all. This is our choice, this is our opportunity. More profoundly, this is our salvation, our freedom, our escape from suffering, our experience of joy. So, now with my friends guiding us, let's experiment. Let's practice when it's easier. Okay? God bless.
here to experience healing somehow. There is a lot of techniques that Paramhansa Yogananda, Yogananda, we learn, and many of us we apply daily in our daily life. Things happen, and it's not that by keeping a healthy life in body, mind, and soul is going to free us to pain or sickness. Things happen, and what we are learning is how do we deal with that? Why that may happen, and how can we learn from that and be better? So we realize that healing is needed because something is wrong in our body or around us, maybe for someone that could be in our body or in our mind. But why that is happening? see and we feel it, but that's the last episode. When we understand that what we are seeing in our life has begun much long time ago, and in levels very, very subtle. When we feel something on our body, we have been doing something or thinking something that has produced this. Yogananda said that there is 3 levels of manifestation. The last one is the physical level, and that's what we relate to the most. I don't feel well. But before that, or in a more subtle level, there is an energetic level. And even more subtle than that is a thought level. So if we keep this in mind and we connect these points, we can understand even better why things are happening in a more physical, material plane started with thoughts. So as Asa was saying, that we have the power, we have that window that we can connect with an energetic level with the reality, the truth in a pure level. You can call it God or pure energy. But how do we do that? So there is a few techniques, and we will be exploring some today. And I would like to present to you a series of exercises. They are fun, and that's one of the ways that we can heal ourselves, starting smiling. And Swami Kriyananda, which was a great disciple of Yogananda, called these exercises superconscious living exercises. And it's how do we bring consciousness to our life, to whatever we do. And with that, we will get much more understanding of why things happen in our lives. So I would like to invite you to stand up and picture that you have enough space next to you. So you will stretch your arms and make enough space. And be sure that you don't have anything delicate in front of you. Okay, with these exercises, we will be doing several things. One, moving energy. When we move energy, when things are moving, it's more easy to direct that energy. So when we are feeling tired or sick, move. This is great. So another thing that we will be doing is doing an affirmation. This is going to be out loud. I encourage you to do it out loud, accompanying the movement. But try not only to do it with words, but with conviction from inside. So we will be connecting the physical plane with the willingness of doing it, and also the thought. And try to connect those 3 planes with pure presence. So this exercise says, I am, and start walking one place, doing energetically, more and more. You can smile. You can accompany this with the affirmation, I'm awake and ready. 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 Second one. Don't you feel that energy is already moving? Good. The next one is going to be moving the arms to the sides, in front of you, and up. And when you go up, you can even jump a little bit. And the affirmation for this is, I am positive, energetic, enthusiastic. 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 Good. These exercises work especially well when you don't want to do them. The next one, you will tap the top part of your body with your fist, and the affirmation, I am master of my body. I am master of myself. I am master of my body cells. Awake, rejoice, 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 my body cells. Okay, how's it going? Good. The next one, we are going to go to the brain, and this is so important. We want a happy mind, happy brain. Tapping the brain with our knuckles. We are going to affirm, be glad my brain, be wise and strong. 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 And the last one. Now we are going to massage the skull. Try to get into all the crevices everywhere. And repeat the affirmation. Awake, my sleeping children, wake. Awake, my sleeping children, awake. 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 Now close your eyes, relax your arms, your shoulders, open your chest, and gaze upward to the beyond the point between the eyebrows. And try to feel your body, or maybe even more subtle, flowing, something more subtle, flowing through your body. Gazing upward, try to feel or imagine like a current of energy, of light, from the bottom of your feet, going up to the point between the eyebrows, and from there to the infinite. And from this feeling, make yourself as a channel for the divine that flows through you whenever you are open and willing, with an open heart and a calm mind. Take a deep breath. Exhale and slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much for your collaboration. This is always more fun when we're with friends.
This song is I Live Without Fear. It's a beautiful song, almost a prayer, if you listen to it. And Swami Ananda wrote this song. Someone had come to him, someone who had lived in the community with him, and felt the need to tell him all the reasons why everything he was doing was wrong and terrible, and just really laid it out there. And Swami listened and thanked him. He left, and he wrote this song. And so just keeping that in mind as you listen, with a consciousness that it takes to feel this and to channel this in a situation like that. We all have that potential, is the lesson there.
We saw her fair and
being channels for peace, for harmony, for healing energy, in just not within ourselves, but also in our relationships with our families. I have the great blessing to get to work with parents and families, and I get to learn a lot about the opportunities that we have, that especially parents, but all of us have really in our relationships to be channels for that light. Asha shared so beautifully about the opportunity we have maybe with people we don't know, that we just pass on the street even. But every day we have the opportunity to practice right in our own homes. We don't even have to leave. Perhaps many of you have had practice. What's up? We're streaming online. Welcome everyone that's sharing and joining us online also. Perhaps you've had lots of practice in the last couple of years during the pandemic to practice in your home, how to be a channel for that divine peace, that divine harmony. And maybe it's been a little challenging at times, but there are ways that we can work with that. Yogananda talked about family as, we want to ultimately, as Asha was speaking, expand and Inez was sharing, expand and feel that oneness with everyone and everything, and be able to share that kindness and that divine love with everyone. But we have to start somewhere. And, we want to start with our own energy, as Sean was talking about, and our own thoughts. And then we expand that to work with our family and those that are close to us, our friends. And then from there, we can gradually expand. And it's not that we're, loving everyone personally and individually, but we're being channels, we're being a reflection for that divine light and that divine love. Yogananda gave the example of a lump of carbon and a diamond. The light, the sunshine, will shine equally on them. One of them will absorb that light, and one has developed the characteristics to be able to reflect that light. And so that's the invitation, is to develop ourselves, develop our ability to be able to reflect that divine light. And to remember that it's not through our own, always through our own, sheer willpower and effort. Yes, we have to awaken the energy, but also to just let that divine love flow through us, to be a channel for that, and to welcome those opportunities that come to us. So I want to guide us in one or two exercises to just create some physical opening in the heart with the breath and a little bit of movement. The heart chakra, Paramhansa chakra, is located here at the center of the chest. And I won't go into obviously all about energy centers, but I'm sure those of you that are practicing with Inez, she teaches on that through the yoga practice and through movement, through the yoga postures. Yes, we're channeling divine energy, we're being physically active, we're tuning into the physical health benefits of those postures, but really what we're doing is we're working with energy, and we're opening the channels of energy, right? So that it can just flow. It wants to flow upward and outward and expand. And so we just are doing what we can to get out of the way, in a sense, to move aside and let that light flow through us. So let's begin. You do need a little bit of space, but you might be able to just do it seated. You're welcome to stand up if you feel to. I'm going to do my best to be close to the mic while also moving. So we're going to start with the hands in prayer position. And just to kind of get us a feel for the energy there at the heart center and through the arms and the chest, press the hands together with a little bit of energy. You just feel that tension in the shoulders and the arms, in the biceps and the palms. And then relax that tension. And we're going to move with the breath. So on an inhale, you'll interlace the fingers, inhale through the nose, and let the elbows lift up. And then as you exhale, you're going to press the arms forward like this. And then as you inhale, the arms come up overhead. And then as you exhale, the hands come behind, wherever is available. You can clasp the hands and create some opening in the chest. As you inhale. Yeah, you might need to sit forward in your chair, create a little space, and then on the exhale, we come back to center. So now you have the gist of it. So we'll do it a few times together, and then I'll let you move at your own pace. So we'll inhale, the elbows go up. Exhale forwards. Inhale up, and Exhale behind. Inhale to stretch the chest forward. And then exhale, palms to center. So let's move together once more. I won't guide us, but just following your own breath or following along with me. In. Out. In. Becoming aware of the heart center as you move, becoming aware of your breath. Moving through once more, maybe with your eyes closed if you feel to, and really just tuning into the rhythm of your own breath. When you land back with your hands together in the heart center, maybe taking a moment just to put one hand over the other on top of the chest, feeling the heartbeat, feeling the breath. And if you're standing, you're welcome to take a seat. So I wanted to give us an opportunity to reflect perhaps on one of those challenges that comes up for you in your relationships, maybe with someone in your family. This is an exercise that I do often with the parents that I work with. In working with parents and families, I use an approach called Education for Life, which is based on Yogananda's teachings. And one of the core pieces of that is maturity, meaning the ability to relate appropriately to other realities, the ability to expand ourselves. So first we have to become aware of our energy, we have to start to work with our own energy, and then the next step is to start to expand that. We're all on this journey of expansion, right? From wherever we're at, to become more expansive, to be able to relate to other realities than our own. And so this exercise allows us to play with that a little bit. So I'm going to invite you to call to mind some little challenge or frustration that you've had maybe with someone in your life. It could be someone in your family, or it could be a friend. And choose something that's maybe a 3 or a 4 in intensity. You don't want to pick something that's a 10 that you're still really fired up about right now. And if at any time, as we're kind of reflecting, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes at a certain point. If at any time it just feels really overwhelming, you just put your hands to your heart, come back to your breath, and just stay there. So call to mind that circumstances. Everyone raise your hand if you've got some little challenge or frustration that's bubbled up. Maybe someone doesn't have to be a big thing. Okay, we've got a few. You can think of something. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a recent thing. You can go back and reflect on something. Sometimes that's helpful to look at something that's happened a while ago. Okay, so you've got something in mind. So when you've got that in mind, feel free to close your eyes or just let your gaze be soft and fixed at a certain point. And put yourself back in that situation in your mind. Imagine that you're back in that situation again in that moment, whatever was unfolding. Maybe it was a conversation, an exchange. And just notice first your experience that you were having in that moment. So maybe noticing the emotions that were present, physical tension in the body, physical sensation, your posture, the words that you were using, the energy behind that, how you were perceiving the situation, your thoughts. Just noticing yourself almost like a third-person observer, going back into that situation just for a moment. And then taking a breath and letting that go. And now taking a moment to put yourself in the perspective of the other person in that situation. Maybe as a third-person observer, or maybe really imagining that you, as best you can, that you are that person now, that other person in this exchange. And observe, notice, what is their experience? Maybe what feelings, emotions were present for them. Noticing what their thoughts were, how they were seeing the situation. Maybe taking a moment to consider what else is or was happening in their life at that moment, outside circumstances, how they were perceiving and relating to whatever was unfolding in that exchange. No judgment, just a compassionate observer. If it's helpful, you can consider, how might Divine Mother see this? How might Yogananda see this person or this situation? And just notice what awareness bubbles up as you take this different perspective. Doesn't have to be right or wrong. We're just noticing. And then taking a deeper breath and setting that aside. And as you're ready, opening your eyes. So I'll invite you to just take a moment and turn to the person next to you or the people that you're sitting with, and if there's anything that you noticed, maybe you had did anyone notice a new perspective in that situation? Yeah. It's an opportunity that we can, maybe not in the moment, but as Asha was saying, we practice when it's easier. Right? Ideally, we'd love to be able to be really expansive and be able to see the other person's perspective and respond appropriately and avoid all conflict and perfect harmony. But it's not always that easy. We have how we see things, how we like things to go, whatever it is. But we can always take a moment afterwards. That's part of the beauty of having a meditation practice. It can be something as simple as this, just a moment at the end of the day to reflect on a situation or a circumstance and take another perspective. That's what meditation allows us to do, is to just step back and tune into that bigger perspective, zoom out a little bit sometimes, and just see what else is true. We get sometimes so attached to our version of things, which is natural, but we can practice in moments like this to see things from a different perspective. And I'd also invite you to take a moment now to think of that same person. I think you can think of even just one positive quality. This is something I've been trying to practice, since I notice sometimes our minds, when we interact, especially with certain people in our lives, go towards all the problems, all the negative characteristics. It's like a magnet. We have that problem consciousness. We just seem to get drawn to that sometimes with certain people. But they have positive qualities too, and we can train ourselves. We can practice looking for that light in others, looking for that goodness. So I'd invite you to see if you can think of a positive quality now for that person. Maybe practice when you notice a critical thought like that, to just think of a few, even one positive quality. What's something beneficial? Because it's there. If we look for it, it's there. That divine light is not only flowing through certain people at certain times. It's always available. But we have to recognize it. And that's part of being channels, is to look for it. Well, whatever we focus on, whatever we look for, we see. Isn't that so? Whatever we're looking for, if we're looking for positive qualities, we're going to see more of that. So we have to train ourselves in that way. So we'll have another song now before our final portion of the evening. I'll invite the choir back up again. This song is Make Us Channels of Thy Peace, and it is based on a prayer that is attributed to St. Francis.
Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee. All our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. Where there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love. Lord Most High, our Heavenly Father, all our lives we dedicate to Thee. All our labors, all our joys and woes, all our pleasure, all our melody. Make us each a channel of Thy peace. When in darkness, guide us from above. When there's sorrow, may we sow Thy joy. Where there's hatred, may we share Thy love.
Hello everyone, my name is Jitendra and it's a joy to be with you all, and thank you everyone who have shared so far this evening this very important topic for each one of us. I wanted to start off and share that Paramhansa Yogananda brought many important tools, techniques in reawakening the essence, the pure essence of this path of self-realization, that we have the power, the opportunity to realize our oneness with the source of all that is, one with God. He brought many things, but this evening we're focusing on healing, of opening our lives as channels for this power to influence our own life, those within our family, friends, and the world. There are many different healing modalities that we know of in the world. And we have seen that there's increasing focus on working with energy. And so Paramhansa Yogananda brought divine will healing. This is what Yogananda's healing techniques, this path that Yogananda has brought to us. And in essence, we can understand what divine will healing is in this title, this description, divine will healing. One of my favorite sayings that's passed around a lot is that the more sugar you put in water, the sweeter it becomes. And just the same for us in our own life, that the closer we get to that source, the more we open up to that flow of divine energy, the more that we have the capability and the power to heal just as Christ healed, just as Yogananda healed. And Yogananda's mission, a part of his mission was to reawaken this awareness in all of us, because we always have that other side of us that doubts. Yes, Christ, he had the power to heal. Yes, Yogananda had the power to heal, but me? we get caught there and we limit ourselves. But divine will healing and the techniques that we're going to be practicing are very simple. And we open ourselves in the deepening attunement to the source, which all of us can also hold as the focus, our soul nature. And how do we get close to that source? The power of meditation. Yogananda said, prayer becomes 1,000 more powerful. So, in Divine Will Healing, one of the other emphasis that Yogananda brought to make sure that we remember this, that he said that what he preferred as the term of prayer is, rather than approaching God as a beggar, he used the term loving demand. So this term, loving demand, is really the essence of what we're trying to attune to in our attitude, in our approach toward prayer. Because Yogananda said that if we approach God, we approach Divine Mother as a beggar, just as if we approached a big golden castle and we knocked on the door and we approached the owner of the castle as a beggar, well, he said, you will get a beggar's share. But if you approach God as a child of God, as a son and daughter of God, then isn't it so that you have that right, of that inheritance, the full inheritance of the mother and the father? And so this is the attitude in which Yogananda emphasized how we should approach our prayers, how we talk with God, how we commune with God, with that absolute knowing that God is within us, and that power can increase as we go deeper and deeper inside and attune to the source. And this is the power of meditation. When we go inside, there's a power that comes when we go inside and we listen to the soul. Yogananda said meditation is listening to God. Prayer is speaking to God. So how do we speak to God? I loved what Asha shared with us as the example of that book that she was referencing. But what we're going to be doing this evening is we're going to be practicing. And the essence here is we practice, as Asha said, when it's easier. Because we know that there's going to be circumstances in our life, and we know there's a dire need right now in the world for prayer. But what happens so often is we sit, we may pray, but we say, God's not listening to my prayer. I've said 1,000 prayers last week, and I don't see my new Lamborghini in my driveway, or I didn't get the new job, or whatever it is that we ask for. But this is where this faith comes in. And the more we practice prayer, the more we can feel the power of this prayer. That we don't just read about it in books, but we can feel that power. Yogananda said the channel is blessed by what flows through it. And so we're going to be practicing now these very simple techniques that Yogananda brought us. But the more we practice them, especially after deep meditation, or just after your meditation, your prayers become magnetized with this power. So we're going to begin, we're going to have 3 different exercises that we're going to be doing. First, we're going to learn the Divine Will Healing prayer that Yogananda used very often. And then we're going to have a couple of other techniques and practices that I'll introduce shortly. So this very simple practice, done regularly, with ever deepening focus and concentration at the third eye, feeling the flow of energy coming from God that is within you, from the third eye. What we're going to be practicing now is using, as Yogananda said, the Divine Mother prayer. And before we do this, it's important to prepare the body, Yogananda said. So I want to first just share that anyone who's here who is interested in going deeper in Yogananda's teachings, to speak to Inez. I know everyone probably knows Inez here this evening, but if you feel interested to go deeper, there are other techniques that we don't have time to go into this evening. The energization exercises. We're going to learn also a powerful meditation technique as well. But the more we go deeper in these teachings and our meditation and working with energy, the more we'll feel our power, the power of prayer increasing. So when we prepare the body, we're going to do just a few simple activities that help Yogananda, as he shared, prepare the body. So first, let's take our palms together over the heart and gazing upwards at the point between the eyebrows. This is the seat of superconsciousness. This is the point in which Yogananda said to visualize those that you wish to pray for, visualizing them bathed in divine light. So just focus at the third eye, the point between the eyebrows for a moment, and let's rub our hands together with increasing speed without squishing your hands too much. So feel the palms rubbing. Perhaps you feel a little heat. Now keeping your eyes closed, and just stop now and just slowly move the palms away from each other. And just feel. And now slowly drawing the palms in toward each other. Perhaps you feel a sort of resistance between the palms of the hands. Just feel that presence of energy flowing through the palms of the hands. As Yogananda said, the palms of the hands are the healing battery of the body. Energy flowing through the hands create a powerful magnetism and flow of energy to bring healing to those in need. And you can now relax the hands down. Just feel that energy. And now we're going to rub. You can lift your sleeve if you can. If not, that's okay. But use your palm of your right hand and rubbing vigorously up and down the left arm. So we're preparing these channels of energy for energy to flow more freely, more powerfully. Drawing awareness to this channel of energy. And then on the right side, so with your left palm rubbing up and down the left arm. And now one last time, rubbing the palms together vigorously. And now placing the palms facing outwards. Just feel energy flowing out from the body into this room. You do not have to do anything at this point but feel. As Yogananda said, this healing energy is cosmic, conscious energy. It knows what it needs to do. So just feel as an empty vessel, a channel, this energy to flow freely through you, filling this room. And then slowly bring the palms together over the heart. And relax them down. Let's just pause for a moment. Close the eyes, gaze upwards, and just feel that sense of connection. As Yogananda often emphasized, the more we feel that God is the doer, the more this energy can increase and flow more freely. Now we're going to do the Divine Mother healing prayer that Yogananda gave to us. And we'll just hold the general prayer together as I demonstrate this prayer together. So let's bring our palms together over the heart, gazing upwards. And again, let's visualize all of those who are here this evening, feeling a sense of gratitude in our hearts for that love and blessing that guided us together. And let us share this blessing with each other. We're going to do this Divine Mother healing prayer, and I invite you to repeat after me. Divine Mother, Thou art omnipresent. Thou art within all thy children. Thou art within this temple. Manifest thy healing presence. In all bodies, minds, and souls. Now rubbing our palms together and feel this energy flowing through you. Feel its Divine Mother's energy. Now chanting Om 3 times, palms facing outwards. Feel its energy being shared with each other. As you feel that energy diminishing its flow, you can go ahead and relax the arms down and just pause, gazing upwards. And always feel that you're becoming increasingly aware that it is the source of Divine Mother in which this energy is flowing through you, sharing blessings with those in need. So now we're going to pray together. Let's meditate briefly, gazing upwards at the point between the eyebrows, relaxing the body, leaving any tension. And to help us let go of any lingering tension, as Yogananda taught, this double breathing, tensing and relaxing exercise. Let us together now take a double inhalation through the nose and tense the whole body. Double exhale through the mouth. Relax and feel. One more time. Double breath in, tense the body. Double exhale through the mouth. To pray for any individual, a group healing, for anyone that you know that might be in need of healing at this time. We invite you to offer the name out loud as we all focus on that individual, as we pray for them, holding them in the light. So at any point in time now, as you feel to, you can offer any names up to this light, to Divine Mother for healing. Sanjan, and it would be nice for you to speak up as much as you can so we might all hear.
Adi.
Rachel. Rosa.
John. Anita Worker.
Bilbo.
Ethan. Craven family.
Marvati.
Jeff.
Dan. Howard.
Soul of Doug Shields.
Lola.
John.
Marty.
Janisha.
Linda Worker.
Luke Beck.
Paramhansa.
Petition Baby. Arjuna Shivani.
Athena,
Celestine Roger Polk,
Dan,
Bhagavati,
Joy and Zoe,
Angel, Ted,
Alice,
Albert and Mary Smith,
Peter Gaza, Meg, Paul Gaza,
Dion,
Chastity,
Shannon,
Laura,
Dimitri, Inez,
Benita,
Lisa,
Ivana,
Terry Jordan,
Guru Priya,
Lauren,
Om Shanti.
Let's visualize these souls filled with divine light. Bring your palms together over the heart. Keeping your concentration at the third eye. Let's go ahead and pray for these individuals. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Thou art in all those we pray for. Manifest thy healing presence. In all their bodies, minds, and souls. Moving our palms together. Keeping your gaze looking toward the light of the third eye. Chanting Om 3 times, feel the blessings flowing through, blessing all those that we pray for. So now we're going to shift and pray now for the world. And as we tune deeper and deeper to the Om vibration, which Om is that, Yogananda said, Om is that presence of Divine Mother's love in all creation. And so as we attune to that vibration of Om, as we feel that vibration within us, we become magnetized with that divine healing presence. And so we're going to now focus on sharing healing into the world by chanting Om. continuously for a few minutes. When you chant Om, gazing upwards, feel that through your heart, through this vessel, that this vibration is flowing through you into the world, into wherever there is a need, wherever there is the shadow, that this light may prevail. So we're going to chant Om continuously, so don't try to wait for everyone to start. Just continue chanting Om out loud, putting a lot of energy and focus in your heart and your mind, in your soul, of sharing this vibration into the world as you focus it, sharing it to those individuals who may be in need at this time. Gazing upwards, let's visualize this planet. Wherever there is darkness, that Divine Mother's light may prevail, especially wherever there's conflict, in war, in disease. Let's visualize this great light of the saints of all religions, flooding this earth with light, with compassion and love, into that one united heart. So let's chant Om now for a few minutes, sharing blessings to those in need. Taking a deep breath in.
Oh,
this last technique Yogananda gave to us. This prayer called the Peace and Harmony prayer. Yogananda recommended if you have any disharmony with another individual or a group, to repeat this prayer, visualizing those that you pray for with this prayer in a bubble of light, bubble of peace. Also, we can pray for the world with this prayer. So we're going to together, simultaneously use this prayer. Yogananda had us repeat these words: Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. And we'll say that 10 times, and then 3 times. Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. When you're using this to harmonize with someone that perhaps there is disharmony, to draw that grace into that relationship, you can use this prayer in the way of, Lord, fill the person's name that you're praying for with peace and harmony, and then praying for yourself. So let's now visualize this world, this planet, filled with light as we use this prayer. Feel peace and harmony awakening in all hearts. Together, let's repeat this now, out loud. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill this world with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Now for ourselves. Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Lord, fill me with peace and harmony. Peace and harmony. Let's rub our hands together, chanting Om 3 times. Feel the divine love, peace, and harmony flowing through you, blessing this world.
Master said that wherever divine energy is expressed, that divine energy remains forever. It's a very interesting thing. I think all of us tonight have stepped into this sacred space which has been sanctified in countless ways before our coming. So we stepped into a profound vibration that's already here. And then just by this little bit of concentrated collective energy, you can feel how much power can be generated. It's vitally important at this time in history that everyone who has the capacity to feel that energy dedicate ourselves to being instruments of that light as much as we can. And when you're in that light, all fears, all anxieties go away. And that's the actual task of these times, is to rise to the job that's been given to us. There's a wonderful prayer of Masters that we often use to end a service. May thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, which is the human heart. And may we be able to awaken that love in all hearts. Let that be our prayer. And we'll close with a beautiful and appropriately titled song called Peace.
Thank you all for coming, and Nancy, would you like to?
I told you you would enjoy the evening, and I guess you did. It was not to be missed. So there was a lot of experiences, and by learning these techniques, we know we can shift our energy, we can expand our consciousness and align with the divine. And by just doing that, you can live your everyday life just where you are, in the most extraordinary way. This is how we fund more light in our lives. This is how we become channels for divine peace and harmony in the world. We have to change first. We fund that light, and then we can shine it on everybody else. So thank you for coming. It's been a joy participating. Thank you for all the people that participated. Also all our Guru Bhais from Ananda Village. And just a few practical things. If you parked at 100 Clarendon, you want to get your ticket validated before you go back to your car. And lastly, Asha has some books on that table, and they're 15% off now. So if anybody cares to purchase one of those books, take them home and just review all that beautiful wisdom that we received over the weekend and today in order to keep our energy and our consciousness high and expanded. So thank you very much, and I'll see you in class, whenever that is.